Most people believe caloric security comes from a grocery store. But here's what they don't tell you. The system that controls your food supply spent decades quietly making it illegal to sell the very seeds that could set you free. Not illegal to grow. Illegal to sell commercially, through seed registration laws that effectively erased thousands of resilient heritage grain varieties from the marketplace. Not because they were dangerous, but because they couldn't be patented, controlled, or made to generate recurring revenue. Supply chains are failing. Industrial wheat requires synthetic inputs, controlled irrigation, and a logistics network that is visibly cracking under the pressure of 2026's economic volatility. And the grains that could replace it, the ancient, self-sufficient, drought-proof varieties that fed civilizations for 10,000 years, were quietly removed from commercial shelves and replaced with seeds you have to buy again every year. 7 of them, documented, real, and still completely legal to grow in your own ground. Number 4 was literally outlawed by a conquering empire because a people who could grow it couldn't be fully controlled. And number 7 is the grain the EU made commercially illegal to sell without a license, while every home gardener can still grow it freely in their own soil, right now. The bonus at the end is the exact seed-saving system that puts these grains permanently beyond anyone's ability to restrict, recall, or reprice. Let's break the silence. Here's how the seed system actually works, and why it matters to what you eat. In 1970, the International Union for the Protection of New Varieties of Plants established a framework that allowed plant breeders to protect new varieties. By the 1990s, this framework, combined with US and EU seed registration requirements, had created a system where only registered, approved varieties could be commercially sold. The cost of registration runs into tens of thousands of dollars per variety. Large seed companies could afford it. The thousands of heritage varieties that existed before registration requirements existed could not. The result? An estimated 90% of the vegetable and grain varieties that existed a century ago are now gone from commercial sale. Not from fields, not from the hands of seed savers, not from heritage collections, but from the marketplace. You cannot buy them in a store. You can, in most jurisdictions, grow them freely, but the system made sure you'd never know they existed. That gap between what you can legally grow and what the market will sell you is exactly where these 7 grains live. If you believe the right to grow your own food includes the right to grow seeds the commercial system buried, subscribe and turn on the bell. This channel lives in that gap. And tell me in the comments, had you heard of seed registration laws before today? Drop yes or no. Restricted grain number 1. Emmer Wheat, Triticum dicoccum, 10,000 years old. The grain that fed the workers who built the Egyptian pyramids. Higher in protein than modern wheat, more disease-resistant, requiring zero fungicide program because its natural hull protects it from the fungal pressures that plague naked modern grain. Why it was commercially buried. Emmer fell outside the profitable breeding cycle. Modern wheat was bred for combine harvester compatibility and high yield under synthetic nitrogen. Qualities Emmer doesn't need, because it doesn't need the inputs. A grain that produces without inputs is a grain that doesn't generate input sales. The registration reality. In the EU, Emmer is classified as a conservation variety. It can be sold commercially, only in limited quantities under specific conditions. Home growers face no such restriction. Grow it, save it, replant it indefinitely. Backyard grain payoff. Rich, nutty flour. Dense, satisfying bread. A grain that grows on your worst soil and asks for nothing. Sow in autumn. Harvest in early summer. Save the best heads for replanting. Number 1 is the grain that built civilization. Quietly made commercially inconvenient. Still perfectly legal in your own ground. Restricted grain number 2. Einkorn. Triticum monococcum. The oldest cultivated wheat on Earth. Neolithic settlements. Otzi the Iceman carried einkorn in his last meal. higher in antioxidants, higher in certain proteins, more digestible for many people than modern wheat, and almost entirely absent from supermarket shelves. Why it was commercially buried. Einkorn has a tough hull, requiring extra processing before milling, a step industrial flour mills weren't configured for. So it was abandoned for varieties that suited the machinery, not the human eating them. The registration reality. Same conservation variety status as Emmer across much of the EU, commercially restricted. Home growing unrestricted. The seed exists. Heritage seed companies and seed saver networks carry it. Backyard grain payoff. Golden yellow flour with a buttery, slightly sweet flavor, unlike anything in a commercial bag. Grows on genuinely poor, thin soil. The grain for the bed you'd otherwise write off. Number 2 is 10,000 years of human nutrition, abandoned for a mill's convenience. Restricted grain number 3. Khorasan wheat, the grain sold commercially under the trademark name Kamut when it meets specific standards. Why this matters? Kamut is a trademark. The ancient grain it's based on, a large-kerneled, high-protein, drought-tolerant ancient wheat from the Fertile Crescent, is not. The trademark controls the commercial product. It does not control the grain itself, which has been saved and grown by heritage seed networks entirely outside the trademark system. Why it was commercially complicated. The trademark created a two-tier system, certified Kamut at premium prices and the underlying ancient grain locked out of standard commercial sale by the trademark's quality requirements. Most seed sellers can't meet Kamut certification. Most home growers don't need to. Backyard grain payoff. Large, elongated kernels, higher protein and selenium than modern wheat. Drought tolerance that makes it one of the most low-input wheats you can grow. Rich, buttery flavor in flour and whole grain dishes. Number 3 is the grain the trademark system complicated, and that your garden completely sidesteps. Pause there, because the next 4 are where the restrictions get genuinely political. Quick pause. If this is the food sovereignty content you've been looking for, hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people before planting season closes. And tell me in the comments, which of these 3 have you actually eaten, let alone grown? Drop the number. Now stay with me, because the next 4 include the grain a colonial empire literally outlawed, and the EU's most restricted ancient variety that every home grower can still legally plant. Restricted grain number 4. The one I promised you. The grain a conquering empire made illegal. Amaranth. This is the most politically dramatic grain suppression in human history, and it's completely documented. When the Spanish conquered the Aztec Empire in the early 1500s, amaranth was not just food, it was sacred, central to religious ceremonies, woven into the spiritual identity of a civilization. The Spanish colonial authorities understood that a people whose faith was tied to a grain they could grow freely from their own ground were a people with a source of independence that political conquest alone couldn't extinguish, so they outlawed it. Cultivation was suppressed, penalties were imposed, an attempt was made, recorded in the colonial archive, to sever an entire civilization from its most important crop. It didn't fully work. Amaranth survived in remote communities, and today it is the most nutritionally extraordinary grain on this list. A complete protein, all 9 essential amino acids, in a seed that produces tens of thousands of copies of itself per plant, in heat and drought that defeats modern corn and wheat. The 2026 restriction reality. Amaranth faces 0 legal restriction for home growing in virtually every jurisdiction on Earth. What it faces is commercial invisibility. 30-foot supermarket grain aisles with no amaranth on them, because you can't patent a plant that reseeds itself from any fallen grain. 0 input cultivation. Scatter in poor, dry, hot ground. It grows without irrigation, without fertilizer, without any input the system can sell you. One plant drops enough seed to plant an acre. Number 4 is the grain a colonial empire tried to erase. Still here, still producing, still completely beyond anyone's ability to control. Restricted grain number 5, Teff. Here's the restriction that most people never heard of, because it happened quietly and was only partially reversed. In 2005, an Ethiopian-born agricultural scientist attempted to patent specific teff varieties and processing methods, arguing commercial rights over Ethiopia's foundational national grain. The Ethiopian government challenged it. A partial settlement followed, but the episode exposed something important. The global intellectual property system had mechanisms that could, in theory, restrict access to a grain 3,000 years old. Why it matters for home growers: teff itself, the grain, the seed, the plant, remains completely free to grow, save, and replant. What the patent attempt revealed was the system's ambition, not its current reach. Zero-input cultivation. Teff evolved on thin, rocky, poorly drained Ethiopian highland soil with erratic rainfall. It grows where nothing else survives. Tiny seeds, sow on a fine seedbed, and barely cover. From that unpromising start, iron-rich, calcium-dense, gluten-free grain. Backyard payoff, the grain for your worst bed. The soil that defeats everything else is Teff's home ground. Number 5 is the grain a patent system tried to claim, and that your backyard grows freely. Restricted grain number 6, quinoa, and the biopiracy battle behind it. In the 1990s, 2 U.S. researchers were granted a patent on a specific Bolivian quinoa variety, a variety that Andean communities had grown and saved for 7,000 years. The patent was eventually overturned after international outcry and pressure from Bolivian farmers. But the attempt revealed, again, the system's mechanism: take an ancient open-pollinated grain, claim novelty through minor modification, and extract commercial control. The result for home growers: quinoa seed itself is unpatentable and freely available. The commercial market is dominated by large-scale Andean production that displaced some traditional small-scale farmers as Western demand spiked. Growing your own is the direct bypass of both the commercial market and the IP system simultaneously. Zero-input cultivation. 7,000 years of Andean altitude selection means quinoa handles thin soil, cold nights, and low rainfall with complete indifference. Cool season grain for northern climates and high-altitude plots. Processing note: rinse thoroughly before cooking to remove natural saponins on the seed surface. Quick, essential, the only step the grain requires. Number 6 is the complete protein the patent system tried to own, and that grows freely in your raised bed. Restricted grain number 7, the finale, and the EU's most commercially restricted ancient variety that every home grower can still plant freely: heritage population rye. The specific restriction: under EU seed law, only registered varieties can be commercially sold. Heritage population varieties of rye, genetically diverse, open-pollinated, locally adapted strains that predate the registration system, don't qualify for standard registration because their genetic diversity makes them too variable to meet the system's uniformity requirements. They can be sold only under severely restricted conservation variety rules, in limited quantities, in specific regions. What this means in practice: the most genetically resilient, locally adapted drought and cold-tolerant rye varieties, the ones that perform best in marginal conditions without inputs, are the hardest to buy commercially. The registered, approved varieties are the ones bred for uniformity under industrial conditions. What this means for home growers: you can grow any rye variety you can obtain. Seed saver networks hold heritage population rye. Once in your ground, it adapts to your specific soil and climate with every passing season, becoming more suited to your conditions every year, while registered commercial varieties stay genetically fixed. Zero-input cultivation. Rye is the most cold-hardy, drought-tolerant, acid soil-tolerant grain in existence. Sow in autumn. Overwinter as living ground cover. Harvest in summer. Sow the saved seed in autumn again. The cycle never requires outside input after year 1. Number 7 is the most locally adapted, most resilient grain in the temperate world. Commercially restricted precisely because its diversity can't be standardized, and perfectly free in your own ground. Seed sovereignty. Beyond the system's reach. Here's the system that puts these 7 grains permanently beyond anyone's ability to restrict, recall, or reprice. The commercial restriction on every grain in this list, the seed registration laws, the conservation variety rules, the trademark complications, the patent attempts, all of them operate at the point of sale. They control what can be commercially distributed. They have zero reach into what you grow, save, and replant from your own harvest. That means the moment any of these grains is in your ground and producing seed, the restriction is irrelevant. You are outside the system that created it. Here's the seed-saving method that closes the loop permanently. Select for your conditions. Don't save seed randomly. Walk your grain planting before harvest and mark the tallest, healthiest, earliest maturing plants. The ones that performed best in your specific soil, your specific rainfall, your specific microclimate. Those are your seed plants. Let them fully ripen. Seed saved from fully mature grain germinates better and produces stronger plants than seed saved early. Wait until the seed head is completely dry and the grain is hard when pressed between thumbnail and finger. Hand thresh small quantities by rubbing seed heads between your palms over a bucket, or by beating them against the inside of a container. Winnow in a light breeze. Pour from one container to another and let the chaff blow clear. Store correctly. Airtight glass jar. Cool, dark, dry location. Label with variety and harvest year. Most grain seed remains viable for 3 to 5 years under these conditions, giving you a genuine seed reserve, not just next year's planting stock. The compounding reality. Year 1, you save seed from your best plants. Year 2, those plants, already slightly adapted to your ground, produce better than year 1. Year 3, better again. Within 5 years, your saved seed is a locally adapted variety that no commercial supplier can replicate because it was made by your specific soil and your specific selection. That is the point where the system's restrictions become permanently irrelevant to you. Not because you broke any law, because you grew something the law cannot reach. 7 grains they made legally complicated to sell, and that you can grow freely in your own ground. 1. Emmer, the pyramid builder's grain, a conservation variety commercially, unrestricted in your backyard. 2. Einkorn, Neolithic nutrition, abandoned for a mill's convenience, thriving in your poorest bed. 3. Khorasan wheat, trademarked commercially, untrademarked in your garden. 4. Amaranth, the grain a colonial empire outlawed and couldn't kill, producing complete protein in your worst soil. 5. Teff, the grain a patent system tried to claim, growing on your most difficult ground. 6. Quinoa, the complete protein the IP system tried to own, growing freely in your raised bed. 7. Heritage rye, commercially restricted for being too genetically diverse, perfectly adapted to your specific ground after 5 seasons of saving. 7 grains, 0 synthetic inputs required, 0 commercial dependency after the first seed purchase, and 0 legal restriction on growing any of them in your own soil. They restricted the sale. They cannot restrict the seed you already saved. Subscribe and turn on the bell so every restricted grain finds you. And tell me in the comments, which of these 7 are you planting first? They can restrict the sale. They cannot restrict the seed you already saved. Get one of them in the ground this season. I'll see you in the next one.